Hey guys, this is Naveen here. Welcome back to Naveen Automation Labs. Quick announcement on the API Web Services backend testing batch that we are going to start from 30th January. This is I know a lot of people they were waiting for this particular batch, and this time we have decided we will start from 30th January 8 p.m. IST. If you are in US, it will be 9:30 a.m. EST, 6:30 a.m. PST, or if you are in UK or Europe, it will be 2:30 p.m. for you. Okay. But in India, it's 8 p.m. IST. It's only 3 days in a week. You see that Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Every day we have 1 to 1.5 hour session will be there via Zoom meeting, and it will take around 9 to 10 weeks. And we are starting from 30th January. These are the timings that you can check it over here. According to India, it will be 8 p.m. IST. 8 p.m. to 9:30 we will take it, and then every day we have a doubt session also, like every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. After the session we will spend 15-20 minutes, half an hour for the doubt session as well. Okay, you can see the codes and details and the fee detail, enrollment details, everything, and the registration details over here. But I quickly go through with the content, the syllabus. That is what we are having it. What exactly this time we have added a lot of good things and a lot of new things. And trust me that rest assured with Java, along with any other automation tool that you're using, let's say Selenium or Selenium with WebDriver with Java or Python or whatever. But if you're adding this course content with the API automation, it's a very deadly combination. A lot of people are demanding these days about the backend automation, because only Selenium, fine, this is fine, or only Playwright or Selenium or Cypress is fine, but you have to add the flavor of API as well. So it's not about that, okay, if I'm coming from the manual testing background, or can I learn API? Of course, you can learn API, because APIs are about the backend. If you don't understand the backend, then how will you, do the proper testing and the overall system testing? If I really want to perform it for the backend point of view, I won't be able to understand that if I don't understand the backend or APIs or architecture, or what do you mean by different types of APIs, what kind of implementation that they have done in the backend. I really want to test it. So in that case, first we have to understand the introduction of APIs and the web services. What do you mean by API? What do you mean by web service? How exactly we have to understand the backend architecture? What is the difference between REST versus SOAP-based API? Why REST are popular as compared to SOAP? What do you mean by different various CRUD operations like get, post, put, delete, patch, head options? And we will see different live project examples also. All the live examples with respect to APIs, we are going to cover that. Then after the introduction and everything, once it is done, today I'm just going to, give you the high level things, high level bullet points that I have written here. Then the Postman. Postman is like amazing tool, very, very popular in the community. Everyone should have the Postman in their laptop, in their system. If you are working as a test engineer or test automation engineer or API automation engineer, in fact, in the manual testing also, the Postman is everyday routine activity that you have to use it. So first we will see how exactly we can use Postman with respect to manual testing point of view. Like, can we call the APIs through the Postman? Are we getting the response? What are the factors that we have to consider in the API testing? Right? The automation will come later, but first we have to understand that what are the different things. The validation point of view, we have to validate in the APIs. So how to call the REST API in the Postman, path parameter, query parameter, headers, different varieties of JSON and XML payload, and different types of body payloads also. We will see that how to check the response code, how to check the JSON and XML response messages, response header, cookie manipulations, header presets and everything, API history in Postman, environment variables, very, very important topic, that I can execute my test cases in a specific environment also, like QA environment, UAT environment, dev environment, production, or any kind of environment. I can set up my script and the variables accordingly, and then I can run it with respect to the specific environment. And then, Postman, in Postman we can write the JavaScript as well. So a lot of people, they miss that part. Postman is not about only some basic just calling the API and getting the response and validate that. The Postman is in Postman we can write the code also, like we can write the JavaScript code as well. We can create some basic functions and the methods and everything. We can create it, and we can write our test cases properly here, right, in the Postman. For example, let's see, if you see my Postman, This is like we did in the last batch also. There are n number of examples with respect to scripting also we have done it, right? For example, if I really want to use, let's see, some parsing the HTML response. So how will you do that? So when I hit this particular API, see, I'm calling this API, I'm getting a huge HTML response, let's see, in that case. So I really want to parse it. So in that case, you can write your own script over here. Can you see that here? This is what I have written a script. I'm using some Cheerio API, which is internally implemented in Postman. How to use it, how to get the response, what kind of validations we can perform it over here. Those things we can do that, right? Let's see, for example, let's see, I really want to add a request dynamically. So all the prerequisites, everything that I can do it here. See this, I can create a complete workflow also. And whenever I really want to pass one script, one variable from one script to another script, that also we can do it. For example, let's see, this is creating a user. It's a post call. I have created these two functions, get random string or get random number, generating some get random email ID also. On the basis of that, I'm calling the API. See this, I'm using this method pm.request.body, adding the JSON and everything. And then after that, I'm just simple hitting this API as a prerequisites. Once the prerequisites is there, I'm updating the body accordingly here. And then after that, I'm getting the response here, right? So n number of examples. See, fetch the URL from the response. Once it is done, then I'm fetching all the URLs, okay, from the response. Let's see, in the post call, there are n number of product URLs or href URLs are coming from the JSON or from the XML. You can fetch it like that. You can parse the JSON array. Like there are various different types of examples that we have covered with complex to complex JSON also in XML as well. You see that. So the scripting part is also equally important here, guys, in the Postman. Postman is not about just simple write the call here and then simple send it. What if I really want to create some automation, a framework also here, or kind of automation scripting also, I really want to do it, then in that case, you can use it. I really want to create a lot of workflows. See this, this is a Go REST API workflow that we have created. It means create a user first, then get a user, then update the same user, then delete the user and get a user once again just to validate that user is really deleted or not. So you can create a complete workflow based collection also is with the help of a script. That also we can do it here, right? So this is what the automation scripting in the Postman. Postman uses the default chai assertion. So we will see how to write the assertions and everything there as well. And then how to generate the result, how to run the test cases and everything. Everyone should know about it. So Postman, just don't think like it's a very simple tool. It is very simple, but the scope is very wide. It's not about only for manual testing. You can do a lot of automation also in the Postman now, right? And it's very flexible, very easy to understand. But if you know the feature, then only you can write the code. Otherwise, you will not be able to do that. So this is what people are asking and demanding in the market, that are you really comfortable in writing the script in Postman? Yes. Okay, I'll make you perfect how to write these JavaScript and everything in this particular Postman. Now there are advanced Postman and Newman concept also we have added. Like now we have added the Newman. Newman is what is a command line runner provided by Postman, right? You can just set up the Newman, then you can run all the collection directly from the command line, directly from the command prompt. So we will see that what are different command line options are available. We can generate the report. We can just create the collection folders, and then we can run it through the CI/CD pipeline also. That also we can do it. So n number of things that we can do with respect to Postman and the Newman combination. And then monitoring API documentation codes in different programming languages. We will see that how to generate the curl, how to generate the PHP method or Python method or Java method. Can we create that, right? How to publish your own documentation of the API, set up the environment, local and global, collection runner, collect the test summary. A lot of mocking also we can do that in the Postman. See this, there's a feature called monitoring and mocking. Both we can do that. We can create our own workflows also, history, environment we can set up here. Okay. So all these features that I have written here, right? So this is very, very important. Later, once we design the complete, let's see, Postman collection with the proper scripting that you have done, then can we integrate with the Jenkins? Can we integrate with the Docker? Can we create a Docker container image or Docker image for the Postman collections that we have created? Yes, we can do that. And we can integrate with the Jenkins and we can run it on any machine whenever it's required. The moment you check in the code, immediately my collections will start with the help of a container, with the help of that image that we have created, with the help of Docker through the CI/CD pipeline, either Jenkins or GitHub Actions, that you can use it here. So like it's a very lengthy course with respect to Postman and the Newman, if you see that. And I don't want to miss this part because this is equally important in the API automation. Once these things are clear, then it will be easy for you to understand your own framework if you really want to create later with REST Assured or any other REST client. So that's why the Postman is very, very important here. Then there are some n number of things that we have to do, like how to check the APIs at the network layer using the developer tools of the browser. What do you mean by dev tools, how to get how to check the network layer and how to get the backend services API which are running in the background. What do you mean by in the different browser also we can check it, how to check the request response of API in Firefox, Chrome browsers, and then various HTTP status code. It's not about only definition. We will see practically when will you get 200 and 300 and 400 and 500 or 5xx series or 4xx series or 3xx series, right? For example, when will you get the 401 or 404 or 405 or 206 or 202 or 200 or 500 or 501 or 503? What is the reason behind that? How exactly things are happening so that we are getting these kind of status code there, right? So we will see practically, not with the only definition, right? Then once these things are done, then we will see the automation testing of the backend APIs. So now we are going to use some Java-based libraries. So in this particular course, guys, we are not going to cover Java because Java itself will take around 1.5 months for us. So Java videos will be given to you. So by the time we are covering till this point number 5, along with Postman, Newman, and everything, first day itself the Java videos will be given to you, and then you can just simple go through the Java videos, how to create a class, the basics of Java. You should know how to create a class, for loop, if else condition, basic loops, and conditional basis statement, basics of object oriented you should know about it, and the basics of collections also, like hash map and the array list and the list objects, how to create that. Some basic understanding of the collections are required. Then after that you are absolutely good to go with that. So those videos will be shared with you. By the time we cover Postman, you can go through it. And then when we reach to the rest assured part, here it's a Java client, HTTP client. These are the Java based libraries that we are going to use it here. Like for example, HTTP 11 Java client that we are going to use for all the different CRUD calls. And then we will see that how exactly we are getting the response and checking it over there. So same thing, very popular library, which is a DSL rest assured library. Very, very important these days. Like everyone is demanding for the rest assured these days. So just like we do in Selenium, we cover all the Selenium core features, right? That okay, yeah, all the different parts of Selenium, we cover that. Same thing in the rest assured also. First, we have to cover all the core part of the rest assured because it's very, very new for you guys, right? You don't understand what do you mean by, let's see, authentication, authorization, OAuth 1.0, 2.0. What do you mean by token? What do you mean by JWT, refresh token, or secret token, or APIs keys, or client secrets, and everything. So first, we have to familiar with these terms and how to automate those terms, and how to see the proper workflow within that particular API. First of all, we should find that API which is implementing all these features so that we can test it and then we can automate it, right? So in the rest assured part, we will see various types of different API calls, like all the rest assured method, like get, post, put, patch, delete, and everything. Then how to pass the different payloads using POSO, JSON, XML, simple JSON, complex to complex JSON. We will cover that. So it's very, very interesting, very new learning, good things for you. And then various handle authentication. Same thing we will see in the Postman also, like basic authentication, primitive authentication, digestive auth, bearer token, authorization token, client ID, client secret, API key, API secret, OAuth 1.0, OAuth 2.0, JWT, Open API, token, API keys, and everything, right? Without authentication, what are the consequences? With authentication, how to test those applications with the proper authentication and everything. We should know about it, right? So very complex chapters, especially the concept like JWT, concept like OAuth 1.0, 2.0. Why 2.0 is better than 1.0? What is a workflow? So we have various different types of APIs that we will cover. Same thing in the Postman also. You see that we have this Amadeus OAuth 2.0 API. First, we will see the auth, and we'll generate the auth over here. Some permanent grant and temporary grant. We will see that grant type, client ID, client secret, how to get these IDs and the secrets and everything, right? And then after that, we will call the genuine APIs that we are having, the functionality APIs, like let's see, for example, get flight details API. And then to pass that, we have to supply the token here. So in order to generate this token, we have to call the authentication API, let's see, a 2.0 API. See that this is a Flickr OAuth 1.0 API. It's not that straightforward. First, we have to request a temporary access. After that, you have to get the allow access. You have to get the refresh token after that. And then you have to exchange a token to get the permanent token or access token. And then you have to call the APIs, right? So all these things are part of your OAuth 1.0, 2.0. What do you mean by JWT token, which is also very popular these days. And then all the core features of RestAssured. RestAssured supports both the approaches, guys, BDD and non-BDD also. We will cover both. Inbuilt BDD approaches, how to design the test cases in this format like BDD, given, when, then, and all those things. How to log methods, all methods, assertions, verify status code, body, headers, query parameter, path parameter. What do you mean by, response and the request specification builders concept? And you give me any JSON, complex to complex JSON also, I'll make you perfect, just like I make you perfect in XPath and CSS selector. Same thing, we will see the JSON path and the XML path also in the rest assured. Once you know these concepts, you can parse any kind of JSON. You don't need to worry about it. I'll tell you n number of tricks. See, for example, I'll show you. I hope I have this particular code here. You see that here. Let's see JSON path validator test, right? And then you see this here. This is the thing that we have written. Let me show you one more. I hope you can just simply see this. Okay, yeah, this one. You see that here. So this is what a complex JSON, let's see if I'm getting it. So how to call it. So for example, let's see, I just want those location and the country where circuit ID is equal to Shanghai. So this is what a JSON path query that we have written, a JSON path expression that we have written, right? So with these expressions, see this, what do you mean by this? It means from the JSON, I want all the name and the prices and store it inside the list of map object. You see that, let's say I'm calling some product API of something like that. So I'm saying you read this particular query. How to write this query? Just like we write XPath, same thing here. What do you mean by dollar? What do you mean by question mark? How to write the attribute level? If the category equal to jewelry, only then you have to give me the title and the price. It means out of, let's say, thousands of products are there, give me the title and the price only for those products where category is equal to jewelry, right? Looks like SQL query kind of thing. So we have to understand that how to write it. Those days are gone that you have to, parse line by line and then writing a complex for loop and making it unnecessary complex. No, we have to understand the JSON path queries over here. See that here. This is again another JSON path query. So many examples that we have covered here. You see that I'm getting the title, price, and the count and everything here. These are the practice code that we did in the last batch. And you see that here, same thing here. Give me those prices where price is greater than 50. Give me those IDs where price is greater than 50 and the title. Give me the rating and rate. Rate is the child of rating node in the JSON. Same thing for the count also. This is available inside the rating. And then give me the price which is greater than 50. So now you think about, if you really want to write a for loop or conditional based statement, it will be very complex. So with the help of a JVA JSON path API, we can easily write it and then write these queries to fetch the exact data that we are looking for right from the JSON response. So this is what we have covered. And then we have n number of examples with the POSO classes. You see that, first of all, JSON path by using the JVA, XML path also, same thing. XML will be more complex. I hope I can show you with the XML also if I have it. See this XML parser or XML path test that we have done. And then you see that same thing here. In XML, the queries will be slightly different. See, double star dot find all. Circuit ID is equal to Americas, location and the locality. So assume that, okay, there is a very complex XML and under the location, there is a locality. And then the parent attribute is available, circuit ID is equal to Americas. So we have to iterate, and this is called deep iteration, and go to each and every node using the find all deep iteration method and then fetch all the location in the locality. Maybe right now you must be thinking, what is this? I'm not able to, I'm not getting anything. But once we cover that with the proper example, with the proper XML, that time you will get to know how exactly these things are working, right? So those days are gone that we have to write the complex XML parsers and everything. Now we have to be dependent on the XML queries, XML path queries. This is what, see this again, circuit ID equal to Americas. I'm writing simple OR condition. This is like the way we write the XPath in Selenium or in the UI automation. Same thing over here, that circuit ID is equal to Bahrain. Then combine them together and then give me their location and the locality and store it inside the list of a string. Then it will be very easy. So let the JSON come, let the complex and lengthy JSON come. We can easily iterate whatever it's required. So you should know how to write these queries, which are very, very important here. See, so many examples that we have covered here. And number of examples we have covered. You see that around 15, 20 test cases that we have written only for that. See, this is another very complex example that we have given, that find all the names in the user response where ID equal to this and give me their names only, give me their email only, and store it, let's see, in the specific variable. And then after that, validate that here. Okay, so we will see the same JSON path, XML path I have listed over here. And then we will see a lot of POSO manipulations, like how to create the POSO classes. POSO means plain old Java object, and how to write the encapsulation concept and everything, and then how to convert the POSO to JSON and JSON to a POSO, like serialization, deserialization, marshalling, unmarshalling concept. We will cover that. See, it's written over here, serialization and deserialization. And then some really good Hamcrest assertion library also. We will check it here. And along with that, we will see the non-BDD approaches as well, along with the BDD as well. I hope I can show you. See, this is a non-BDD approach. I'm not using any given, when, then concept here in the rest assured in this particular example. But if you, let's see, if I will talk about something here, I hope I can have it in this. So let me just simply show you. Let's see, post with the, okay, maybe this is with the POSO. And okay, let's see this. Can you see that here? We have written what? See this given. And then after that, we have written what? Log all. And then see this is a when, and this is then. So given, when, then format we have written, right? Same thing over here. You see that given, this is what it's given. And then after that, when, and then after that, then we have written. And then again, given, when, then. So we are creating a workflow here, right? This is not a framework. This is, don't go with why have you written hard-coded value and all those things. We have implemented properly in the framework, but this is just to give you an example that how to write the BDD based test cases so that it will be very easy to understand and to read it, right? So this is like BDD and non-BDD both we will see. So once all these core part is done, then we will design the proper framework in the rest assured. See this, we have this particular proper framework. That is what we have actually designed. We will design everything in this particular batch also properly. So many components that we have created. See, listeners, exceptions, errors, different. We have implemented our own client also. You see the REST client, not a single hard-coded value. This particular client should be able to handle any kind of APIs, any kind of REST APIs, with auth, without auth, API key, or anything. It should be able to handle it. Either it is post call, put call, delete call, get call, any kind of thing, right? So this is what, like generic code, just like in Selenium, what we do, we create utilities, right? Element util or browser util. These are the utilities for my CRUD operations. That is what we have created here, not a single hard-coded value. So we'll see that how to create that. See, so many utilities: CSV reader, Excel util, JSON path validator, JSON util, object mapper, schema validator, string utility, XML path utility, database utilities, right? Okay, so these are the different frameworks that we like label that we will cover for sure. That's where all the points that I have written here, you can just simply go through it quickly, set up the Maven project, folder structure, because here the folder structure will be slightly different as compared to the UI automation. Write API test cases with the TestNG, data provider, parameterization, run the test cases through the Apache PI API with the help of Excel. Create your own runner over here, and then how to write the errors, status code, validation, success message, how to maintain that properly. And then we have a, how to implement the things with respect to Git, how to check in, check out the code with the Git PR and everything. We will see that. And then we will integrate with the complete CI/CD pipeline. And this time we have added another new thing, that we will add the Docker images for our API automation. Just to understand that, it's very, very interesting topic, that once we have designed the framework, for example, let's say this is my framework that I have completely developed, right? which is running through CI/CD pipeline, fine, which is perfectly fine. But what if I design this framework and then create an image, and then I'd host this particular image on the Docker Hub, and then this image is available, and then I distribute this image to anyone in the organization or open source or anyone. Let's see, this is my product management team or order management team or user management team. They can, or maybe the client machine also, they can use this image and start doing what? Start running the test cases without installing anything. This is the power of Docker, that we can easily use it. So we can, create our own custom image. We can build it. I'll show you how to build it and everything. And then see this. That's why we have written, create your own Docker image for your API test automation, host it and register the Docker image to the Docker Hub. And then after that, download the Docker image and run it on any machine. This is the power of Docker. We can easily use that. And API automation, it's very, very popular. Advanced reporting like chain test report, extend report, TestNG report, LER report, Maven, TestNG framework, and everything, we are going to implement it here. So what is the role of Docker implementation? The Docker setup, installation, everything we will tell you. Docker important commands, how to create the Postman collections, images also with Docker. Nobody will tell you about this. This is what we do in the real-time project. Most of the people, they simply learn about basics of a Postman and call the API, and that's it, and get the response. We are done. No, we have to go beyond that. We have to create a collection with the proper framework and everything, like proper scripting and everything. Then we have to create an image of it, and Docker image, and host it somewhere and give that image to anyone. Tomorrow, let's see, if I create a Postman collection and then I give it to Hub and make it publicly available, anyone can download that image in their laptop. You just need to have Docker in your system, and you can run the collections also without installing Postman. So this is what we have to actually do it here. We can just integrate with the main pipeline also, with the CI/CD pipeline also, we can do that. Okay. So rest assured framework with the Docker images also, we will cover that I've already mentioned. Build your own Docker custom images for your APIs. And then mounting, this is called building and then mount it somewhere on the server. Maybe AWS registry or the Docker Hub registry also, we can use it here, and we can just simple mount it there. And then after that, anyone can pull these custom Docker frameworks that we have developed from the Docker Hub or AWS registry, and then run it on your cloud server or anywhere. That is the power of implementation. We can use it here. It's not about just only design the things and then we are done. No, we have to set up the proper infrastructure and everything also. We have to do it here. Another thing that we will be covering with respect to Nexus also. Once we design the framework, what if I create a common library for everyone, for the entire organization, like a COE library or R&D framework that I have developed through some R&D, and the common automation framework library that we have developed, and I want to distribute to other team members within the organization, like an automation architect. This is what we do in the real-time projects in good product-based companies. So we can do the exactly same thing. We will design the whole framework and move it to the and deploy it to the Nexus. And from the Nexus, anyone can start using my framework. They don't need to create the the utilities and the functions and everything. They just need to focus only on their API test cases in that particular project. So this is the power of the DevOps activities that we have to use it, like Nexus, Docker, and GitHub, CI/CD, Jenkins, GitHub Actions. Those things we have to start using it. Right now, whenever we talk about APIs, guys, we should learn about the mocking as well. Okay, there are n number of use cases. For example, let's say you really want to integrate with some third-party API or some integration testing that you really want to do it. So your scope is very limited here, right? Because let's say you really want to integrate with some payment gateway or some bank server and all those things, or maybe some mobility services. They don't provide the QA environment, right? Sometimes. Then you say, okay, yeah, my APIs are working fine. But in production, when you integrate your APIs with the payment gateways, or maybe the bank server, or maybe some external server, that time it is not working, because whatever the response that you are getting, you are not able to handle it in your application. Then the production bugs are coming. Then people will ask you that, okay, what is this? Have you not tested? Have you not done any kind of integration testing over there? So that's why the mocking is very important. We will create the fake server or dummy server or mock servers or mock virtualization servers that we will create. If these environments are not directly available with our system, like with our QA environment, so we will create their own dummy servers over here, like this. And then we will integrate with these dummy servers. We will define our own behavior, right? We will define the behavior according to this. If this is giving me these three attributes, The same attributes I'll define here. I'll get the response and then validate here. So this is called mocking of the APIs. Once the integrated environment or external environments are not available. So how to do that? We will see. Same thing we will see in the Postman also, because Postman is having the default mocking. I hope you guys can see it here. See this mock servers. But in the rest assured also, with the help of WireMock, we can easily do that in our framework also. We can do it here. Okay, you see that this is a mocking, and I hope you can see that this is a mocking C test cases that I have written here. I'm defining my own behavior, right? This see get dummy user with the query parameter, get dummy user with the JSON file. So these are the dummy behavior that I have defined, and then after that I'm calling those APIs which are hosted in my local host, and then after that I'm validating it here. So how to write the test cases for that? So these are the integration test cases. Let's see, we have written here, right? Now after that, what else? After that, we have added GraphQL APIs also, right? Very, very important. GraphQLs are not REST APIs, are different from the REST APIs and the SOAP-based API. So what is GraphQL? How is it different from the REST API? How to call the GraphQL API in the Postman and the GraphQL playground? What is query and the mutation in the GraphQL? Very, very important chapter, very popular these days. Real-time GraphQL API examples. GraphQL is developed by Facebook, and GraphQL API automation with the RestAssured library. Can we do that or not? So yes, we have a GraphQL playground. N number of, see this, we have downloaded this GraphQL playground. We will talk about it. And there are N number of real-time APIs also with respect to GraphQL. How exactly GraphQL is different from the normal APIs or the REST APIs. We will cover that part. And then how to automate that. How to call the GraphQL in Postman, and how to call the GraphQL uh, in the rest assured. That also we will see. See, these are the GraphQL APIs. For example, this is example that we have covered. And then what do you mean by how to read the GraphQL schema, mutation, and different types of queries and everything. We will see that. See, what is GraphQL query? What is mutation? Mutation means this is just like a creating a user. In REST API, we call it post call, right? Same thing. Mutation means create a new mutated, I would say, the response or the resource, right? Same thing, how to query from the response. So these are the two very important things in the GraphQL. We have to cover that. And then the real-time API examples, like N number of APIs. This is not about only 11 APIs we are going to cover. Like there are around 15 to 20 different real-time APIs that we are having it. It's not like simple, very straightforward APIs. We have simple to normal to complex APIs also available with the proper authentication, with the proper, let's say Twitter APIs are one of the very complex one because they use 1.0 and 2.0. Flickr APIs with the Auth 1.0, JWT token APIs. We have APIs with respect to OAuth 2.0. Let's see Google Drive. Let's see IMDb. Let's see APIs like Hosurag for the GraphQL APIs, Weather APIs, Booker APIs, Request RES, GoRes.co.in API, which is implemented with the OAuth 2.0 with the token. So we'll see those various complex APIs with the real-time examples. We will see that, right? So you can just simple go through the entire course that what is written here, guys. And every day, the videos will be recorded and will be given to you with the lifetime access. Along with that, you will be getting your, whatever the code that we are writing, the notes also, PDF also, cheat sheets also, you will be getting it along with the interview questions. So every day, this is the topic that we cover. Every day, specific topic will be covered with respect to interview point of view, like what is important here for interview point of view, plus the project point of view also, how exactly these things are important, how to explain, because this is what majority of the people they face at a time of interview, that Naveen, I know what is API, but I'm not able to explain that. I'm not able to use the proper technical words in my answer. So that's why my answer is not, not like looking good, or maybe I'm not able to impress that. My answer is not impressive. So how to give the right answer, how to use the right term at a time of interview, we will see that, because these are like very fundamental concepts. APIs are very, very fundamental. In UI automation, we see that, okay, yeah, simple, fill the form, do a dot click, dot send keys, and fine. Right? But in APIs, things are different as compared to UI. Right? And this is something very, very new for you guys. So you really need to know how exactly things are working internally. What do you mean by architecture? Let's see, what do you mean by caching? What do you mean by cookies? What do you mean by API gateways? What do you mean by load balancer? So we will cover all these things with respect to the API architecture and the application architecture. That is what like backend architecture, 3 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier, like with the database, 3 tier with the database architecture. We will cover that part. Then only you will start visualizing the things in your mind. Okay, yeah, this is how actually it is implemented, and this is how, and that's why we are testing these kind of things. So you think about why backend testing is important. If you see the complete pyramid, have you seen the test automation pyramid? The base of the pyramid is always what? The UTs, the unit test cases. Then you have SITs, then you have APIs, and then you have only small portion is for the UI. So the most of the time you have to spend time on the unit level testing. That will be done by the developers. But after that, you have integration and the API test cases, the middle part of the cone, middle part of the pyramid. You have to spend majority of the time in the uh, in the in the APIs. So if your APIs are healthy, your backend is healthy, no doubt that your application is also responding very well, right? So this is what we are going to cover that. In Postman, there are n number of new things got added. Like Postman now, post with the Postman, you can do the performance testing also, load testing also, we can do that. So that part also we are going to cover that part as well. Okay. So I really want to make you perfect in the Postman with the proper scripting, with the proper JavaScript. Now you must be thinking, do we really need to learn JavaScript? No, as such, not exactly. But the basics of JavaScript, if you are having it, that's good to go. But those basic things, definitely I'll tell you when we design the things in the Postman, that time automatically you will get to know here. But when we write the code in Java, with respect to rest assured, then you should know the basics of thing. Then if I ask you, what do you mean by hash map? It restore the value in the form of key and value pair format. What do you mean by this map.off method? What do you mean by, a simple builder pattern that we are writing it? So these small things, okay, you should know about in Java also here. How to write a for loop, how to write the if conditions, and then how to create the POSO classes and all those things. So if you see that, let's see, this is a simple POSO class that I have created for the user.java. So I'll teach you. See, I have not written any constructor. I'm not using any encapsulation here directly here, like no getter and setter here, no toString method, nothing, because I'm using the Lombok pattern here. See, these are coming from where? If you see the import library is the Lombok. So all these annotations are coming from the Lombok library, which will automatically create a POSO for me. So I'll tell you what do you mean by not null and how to do the one-to-one mapping with respect to JSON. See, this is another product.java that we have created here. This is a nested class that we have created. See, a static nested class under the product. Same thing, see the context client credentials. It's very simple POSO class that we have created. So n number of examples that we are having it, we will cover that part. So obviously for that part, you should know the basics of Java. Okay. So if you miss any session, yes, you will be getting the recording every day. You can just go through it anytime with lifetime access. And the good thing is only 3 days in a week. I don't want to spend, 5 days in a week for this particular batch, because otherwise it will be too much for you guys. So simple, take session on Monday. You can revise it on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, we have 2 sessions. And then after that, you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the full weekend. Then you can revise it and again come back on Monday. Right. So we will target within 9 to 10 weeks. We will try to finish everything here. Okay. So just go through it. If you're coming from the manual testing background or no testing background or coming from the UI testing background also, it's going to help you. If you already know Selenium with UI automation or any UI automation tool, Selenium with RestAssured is a very deadly combination in the market. It's one of the best combo in Selenium for the UI and RestAssured Postman for the backend, which is going to help you a lot. Okay. So just register for it if you are interested. And we are starting from January 30th. All the registration details, fee details, everything is mentioned over here on this page. I'll give you this URL in the description of this video or the first comment of this video. If you are looking for a training like this, I'm sure it is going to help you a lot. If you are interested, go with that, and the registration will be closed very soon. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in the batch. And then keep watching Naveen Automation Labs. Take care and bye-bye.